so much pain. Things were so dark. You've no idea how dark things can become and how painful. And I just wanted to stop the pain. I just could not take it anymore. And I remember sitting on my couch, and I put the barrel in my mouth, and I reached down for the trigger, and I couldn't quite reach it. And I turned my head, and then I could reach it. But then I thought, oh, I'm just going to blow a big hole in the side of my face. So I went to the wood box, and I picked up a piece of kindling. And I went back, sat down, put the barrel back in my mouth, put the piece of kindling on the trigger, and just like that, I changed my mind. And I didn't do it, and I was really upset about not being able to do it, because I still had all this pain. Anyway, years went by, and I had no one to talk to, and I was my own counsel. And in many aspects, that has made me very strong. So when I came here, I was going to say, well, I met you, and they accept me because I'm bisexual. And that's all I was going to say. And then I started thinking about, well, depriving people of the opportunity to perhaps be educated or to learn some understanding of what it's like to be transsexual. And maybe I've evolved. See, I have, very soft skin, hormones does that, and breasts, and I had surgery, and now I have a vagina, and I love my vagina. I would love to talk about my vagina. It could be one of those vagina monologues. Oh. Okay, next time. So here I am, and I'm accepted. I'm accepted. And then I was thinking, I don't want to be just accepted. We shouldn't just accept trans people. You're heterosexual. I don't accept you. I don't go to you and say, oh, Bob, you're heterosexual, and I accept you. We accept you here. I want to be normal. Being trans should be normal. In nature, being heterosexual is normal, and being gay or transsexual is normal. That's what happens in nature. So I just want to be normal, and I want to be thought of as being normal. I don't go around telling people that I am transsexual. And if people do know, like I know some of you are heterosexual, I think somehow, you see, being gay, that's becoming very normal. That's becoming normal. Somebody's gay, yeah. And there's not much discussion going on. In many circles, there's not much discussion. Out in the outskirts of Carbondale, maybe there is, that there's some, and I've heard it, like, okay, on Friday, I went out to dinner with some gay friends. And one of our friends is I think she's bisexual, female, and she has this redneck boyfriend. And he knew that she has gay friends. And he said, no way do I want to meet gay people. No, I don't want to go there. But it was her birthday, and so he said, okay, I'll come. So he came, and he sat there, and for the first part of the evening, it was like he was getting ready to run. I was waiting for him to jump up and start running. But he stayed, and he didn't partake in the conversation, and then I was starting to talk to him, and I said, because he sold tires. So I said, well, now we're all friends here, maybe we can get a good deal on tires. And that kind of loosened him up, and he started to partake in the conversation and started laughing. And at the end of the evening, he was giving us hugs goodbye. And all it took was him meeting people he was afraid of. That's all it took, was to meeting them and seeing them, and they're just like me. They're the same as me, and we are all the same. And I hope in my lifetime that I will see that being GLBT is totally normal. That won't have to exist the same way that there's no heterosexual groups that exist because they're heterosexual, and that's how it will eventually be with being gay, lesbian, or trans. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christine. And I'm going to confess, I probably will never think of you as normal, only because of your extraordinary musical talent. So now it's my turn, and I'm going to start by saying this is going to be a bit difficult for me. When I first conceived of doing this service, I expected to be standing up here, angry and sharing all of the horrors that my right-wing fundamentalist Christian family perpetrated upon my transgender cousin Jessica. Jessica was originally born Jim, and they did treat her terribly, and still do as far as I know. Her sisters and mother will not call her Jessica, insist upon calling her by her birth name. I've even heard my own brother, who has no problem with me being bisexual, make fun of Jessica's appearance because she has the misfortune of inheriting her father's bald spot. But as I searched my memories for what I wanted to share with you today, I realized that the message I need to share is how I, as a very good liberal, did my transgender cousin Jessica wrong. I don't think anyone in this room today really needs to be told not to call names, or to be respectful, or to just not be cruel. That's not what we need to keep in mind. It's not the acts of outright bigotry. But what we need to be aware of are the other ways that we may be inflicting harm. When I became engaged to my wife, I dutifully sent out wedding invitations to everyone, including my cousin Jim, fully expecting that he would boycott my wedding, as did one of his sisters. Much to my surprise, instead I received a joyous phone call from my cousin Jessica, who was no longer Jim and never really had been. We were both so thrilled to not be the only members of the LGBTQ community in our family. I think I remember us high-fiving at a bar one day and yelling, "Perverts unite!" Because that is exactly how our family sees us. And it is not easy knowing that your entire family believes that you are destined to burn in hell for a fiery eternity. At least Jessica and I knew we were no longer the only ones. Because loneliness and feeling alone is a very common theme. Jessica had shared with me that she felt alone her entire life, even in a crowded room of people who purported to love her. I knew from the very beginning that I was literally her only blood relative who did not consider her some kind of freak. Yet I lost track of Jessica, and I let that happen. Her life has never been an easy one, but it just seemed to get worse as time passed. She lost her job that she'd had for many years and had a real problem finding another, I think in large part because she didn't look like society thinks she ought to look. But she'd also developed some serious health issues, heart problems. And the last time I spoke to her, she was in danger of losing her home, feeling quite desperate, and really dealing with the reality that between her financial situation and her health situation, she was never going to get the surgery that she personally felt was so necessary. Her depression was just obvious. But it was also really hard to be around. Jessica withdrew and pushed me away. Just having a conversation on the phone was like pulling teeth. I couldn't solve her financial problems. I couldn't help her with her health problems. I couldn't change the fact that she was unlikely to ever be in a place where she was going to feel totally complete and herself. So I didn't make time for her on my infrequent trips home to Iowa to visit family. It wasn't intentional, and I truly didn't realize I'd done it until I started to prepare for this service. When I searched my heart and I searched my memories, I cannot deny that I let her withdraw from me. I did not try very hard, and I was not there for her emotionally, something I deeply regret. Now, why would I stand up here and share something that I am honestly ashamed of? Because my story is exactly the cautionary tale that good liberals need to be aware of. There are so many ways you can hurt your transgendered friends and family. The kind of casual neglect that I did probably hurt Jessica even more than being called a name, because she knew I accepted her. She knew I loved her, and I consider her a woman. We have to do more than just not be overtly cruel. If we are to be a truly welcoming congregation, it requires that we all do just a little bit more. It requires a real investment of time and energy, and it may not always be convenient and it may not always be pleasant, but we must pay more than lip service to our principles. We must do more than just call ourselves a welcoming congregation. If I ever have the good fortune to be in the room with my cousin Jessica again, and her Christmas card came back last year, as I stand here, I do not know where she is. I do not know if she is alive or dead. But if I'm fortunate and blessed to see her again, I am going to wrap my arms around her, hold on tight, tell her I love her, and promise that I will do better, and promise that she never has to feel alone again. And I ask you all as a congregation, as a community, to join with me the promise to do more. Because if we collectively, as a community, if we all do just a little bit more to reach out, to make people feel welcome, we really will have one great big set of arms that can wrap around a whole lot of people that will never, ever truly have to feel alone again.